Sarah lived on a small planet called Nexus, far from Earth. She was 16 years old, with curly brown hair and bright green eyes. Every day, she looked up at the stars and dreamed of adventure. But life on Nexus was hard. The evil Galactic Empire ruled over everything. The Empire's soldiers wore black armor and carried big guns. They walked through the streets of Sarah's town, making sure everyone followed the rules. People were scared to talk or laugh too loud. The Empire didn't like it when humans had fun. One day, Sarah was walking home from school. She saw an old man fall down in the street. His bag of food spilled everywhere. Sarah ran to help him. She picked up his apples and bread. "Thank you, child," the old man said. He smiled at Sarah. Just then, 2 Empire soldiers walked up. They looked angry. "No talking on the streets," one soldier yelled. He pointed his gun at Sarah and the old man. Sarah felt scared, but also angry. "We're just picking up food," she said. "We're not doing anything wrong." The soldier got madder. He pushed Sarah. She fell down and hurt her knee. The old man helped Sarah up. "Run, child," he whispered. Sarah ran away as fast as she could. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about how mean the Empire was. "Someone needs to do something," she thought. The next day at school, Sarah's friend Maya passed her a note. It said, "Meet me behind the old factory after school. It's important." Sarah was curious. After school, she went to the old factory. Maya was there with 5 other kids from school. "We're starting a rebel group," Maya said. "We want to fight the Empire. Will you join us?" Sarah felt excited and scared. "What can we do?" she asked. "We're just kids." "We can share information," Maya said. "We can warn people when the Empire is coming. Maybe we can even steal some of their stuff." Sarah thought about the mean soldiers. She thought about the old man who got in trouble just for dropping his food. "I'll join," she said. For the next few weeks, Sarah and her friends did small things to fight the Empire. They left notes warning people about soldier patrols. They stole some food from the Empire and gave it to hungry families. They even spray-painted "Empire Go Home" on some walls. The Empire got angry. They sent more soldiers to Nexus. Life got even harder for everyone. One day, Sarah was putting up warning notes. A soldier saw her. "Stop," he yelled. Sarah ran as fast as she could. She ran down alleys and through backyards. But more soldiers joined the chase. Finally, Sarah got trapped in a dead-end street. The soldiers surrounded her. They looked very angry. "You're under arrest for rebel activities," one soldier said. He put handcuffs on Sarah. The soldiers took Sarah to the town square. A big crowd gathered to watch. The Empire leader, a tall man in a black cape, stood on a platform. "This girl is a rebel," the leader said in a loud voice. "She tried to fight against the great Galactic Empire. Now she will be punished." Sarah felt very scared, but she also felt brave. She looked at the crowd and saw her parents. They were crying. She saw her friends from the rebel group. They looked sad and angry. "I'm not sorry," Sarah said in a strong voice. "The Empire is cruel and unfair. Someone had to do something." The crowd got very quiet. No one had ever spoken to the Empire like that before. The Empire leader's face got red with anger. "Execute her," he said to the soldiers. The crowd gasped. Executions were rare, even for the Empire. And Sarah was so young. Sarah's mom tried to run to her, but soldiers held her back. Sarah's friends yelled and threw rocks, but there were too many soldiers. Sarah stood tall. She wasn't going to let the Empire see her cry. "Freedom for Nexus," she shouted. Then there was a loud bang. Sarah fell to the ground. The crowd screamed and cried. The Empire leader looked at the crying people. "Let this be a lesson," he said. "Rebels will not be tolerated." The soldiers left. Sarah's parents ran to her body. They hugged her and cried. Many people in the crowd were crying too. But something changed that day. People stopped being just scared of the Empire. Now they were angry too. That night, Maya and the other young rebels met in secret. "We can't let Sarah's death be for nothing," Maya said. "We need to fight harder." All over Nexus, people were talking. In homes and in secret meetings, they whispered about Sarah. They called her brave. They said she was a hero. Some grown-ups who had been afraid before now wanted to join the rebels. They were doctors, teachers, and even some ex-soldiers. They could help the young rebels do bigger things. The rebels started causing real trouble for the Empire. They broke into the Empire's computer systems. They stole weapons. They helped people escape from Empire prisons. The Empire sent more soldiers to Nexus. They made stricter rules. But it didn't stop the rebels. More and more people joined the fight. News about Sarah and the rebels on Nexus spread to other planets. Soon, there were rebel groups starting up all over the galaxy. They all used Sarah's last words as their motto: freedom for Nexus. The Empire tried to stop the news from spreading. They said Sarah was a criminal, not a hero. But people didn't believe the Empire anymore. On Nexus, Sarah's parents turned their home into a secret rebel base. "This is what Sarah would have wanted," her mom said. "She died fighting for freedom. We'll keep fighting for her." The rebels put up pictures of Sarah all over town. The Empire tore them down, but new ones always appeared. Sarah became a symbol of hope for everyone fighting the Empire. 1 year after Sarah died, something big happened. An old man came to Nexus in a strange ship. He met with the rebel leaders. "I'm from Earth," the old man said. "We've heard about your fight against the Empire. We want to help." The rebels were excited. Earth was far away and had its own problems. But they were willing to help fight the Empire. The old man told them a secret. "Long ago, humans built a powerful fleet of ships," he said. "We hid them away in case we ever needed them. Now is the time to use them." The rebels couldn't believe it. A whole fleet of powerful ships. Maybe they could really beat the Empire. "We'll need brave people to find the fleet and learn how to use it," the old man said. Maya stood up. "We'll do it," she said, "for Sarah and for everyone the Empire has hurt." As the rebels started planning their big mission, they knew it would be dangerous. The Empire would try to stop them, but they were ready to fight. Sarah's mom looked at a picture of her daughter. "You started something big, Sarah," she said softly. "We'll finish it for you." All over Nexus, people got ready for a bigger fight. They were still sad about Sarah, but her bravery gave them courage. They would stand up to the Empire, no matter what. The Empire was strong. The fight would be hard, but the people of Nexus weren't afraid anymore. They had hope, and it all started with one brave girl who decided to help an old man pick up his groceries. The hunt for old spaceships. The rebels on Nexus were excited. The old man from Earth had told them about a secret fleet of powerful spaceships. If they could find these ships, they might be able to beat the evil Galactic Empire. But first, they had to find the fleet. Maya, Sarah's best friend, was chosen to lead the search team. She was smart and brave, just like Sarah had been. Maya picked 5 other people to go with her. Zach, a computer expert. Lena, a former Empire soldier who had joined the rebels. Jiro, a mechanic who could fix anything. Arya, a pilot. And Omar, a doctor. The team met in a secret cave outside the city. The old man from Earth was there too. He gave Maya an old, beat-up tablet computer. "This has clues about where the fleet is hidden," he said. "But be careful. The Empire will try to stop you if they find out what you're doing." Maya nodded. She felt scared but excited too. "We'll find those ships," she said, "for Sarah and for everyone fighting the Empire." The team had to leave Nexus without the Empire noticing. They decided to sneak onto a cargo ship that was leaving the planet. Juro built secret compartments in some big crates. The team hid inside these crates. It was dark and cramped in the crates. Omar, who didn't like small spaces, started to panic. "I can't breathe," he whispered. Lena reached out and held his hand. "It's okay," she said softly. "We'll be out soon. Just breathe slowly." After what felt like forever, they felt the ship take off. They were leaving Nexus, but this was just the start of their journey. When the cargo ship landed on a planet called Zenthor, the team snuck out of their crates. Zenthor was a busy trading planet. There were all kinds of aliens walking around. The team tried to blend in with the crowd. Maya looked at the tablet. "The first clue says we need to find something called the Blue Star Cantina," she said. They walked through the busy streets, looking for the cantina. Suddenly, Zack pointed. "Look, there it is." The Blue Star Cantina was a noisy, crowded bar. Aliens of all shapes and sizes were drinking and talking. The team went inside and found a quiet corner. "Now what?" Arya asked. Maya studied the tablet. "It says we need to find someone wearing a red hat and give them a special code word." They looked around the cantina. There were lots of aliens wearing hats, but none were red. They waited for hours, but no one with a red hat came in. "Maybe we're in the wrong place," Jiro said, yawning. It was getting late. Just then, a small green alien wearing a red hat walked in. The team got excited. "I'll go talk to him," Lena said. She walked up to the alien and said the code word. "The stars are brightest at midnight." The alien's eyes got wide. He looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then he handed Lena a small, shiny object. It looked like a key. Lena brought the key back to the team. "What do we do with this?" she asked. Maya looked at the tablet again. "It says the key will lead us to the next clue. We need to go to a planet called Frost." The team left the cantina and found a ship that could take them to Frost. It was an ice planet, very cold and dangerous. When they landed on Frost, icy wind hit their faces. They put on warm coats and started walking across the frozen ground. Snow was falling hard, making it hard to see. "The key is supposed to show us where to go," Maya said, shivering. She held up the key. Suddenly, it started glowing and pointing in a certain direction. They'd followed the key's light. It led them to a big ice cave. Inside the cave, they found a frozen lake. The key's light pointed at something under the ice. "We need to break the ice and get whatever's down there," Maya said. Jiro used a laser tool to cut through the ice. Zack reached into the freezing water and pulled out a small box. Inside the box was an old piece of paper with a star map on it. "This shows us where to go next," Maya said excitedly. But just then, they heard a loud noise outside the cave. Empire ships were landing. "They found us," Arya yelled. "We need to get out of here." The team ran out of the cave. Empire soldiers were everywhere, shooting at them. Lena fired back, giving the others cover. "This way," Omar shouted. He had found a small ship hidden behind some ice rocks. They all ran to the ship. Arya jumped into the pilot's seat. "Hold on," she yelled. The ship took off just as the Empire soldiers reached them. Laser blasts hit the sides of the ship, but Arya flew expertly, dodging and weaving. Soon, they were in space, leaving Frost behind. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. "That was close," Zack said. "How did the Empire find us?" "They must be tracking us somehow," Maya said. She looked worried. For the next few weeks, the team followed the clues on the star map. They went to many strange planets. On each planet, they found a new clue that led them to the next place. They had many adventures along the way. On a jungle planet, they had to swing on vines to cross a deep canyon. On a desert planet, they rode giant lizards across the sand dunes. On a water planet, they used submarines to explore an underwater city. But the Empire was always close behind. The team had many close calls. Once, they had to hide in a swamp for 3 days, while Empire ships flew overhead looking for them. "We can't keep running forever," Jiro said one day. They were all tired and scared. "We have to keep going," Maya said. "We're so close to finding the fleet. We can't give up now." Finally, they'd reached the last planet on the star map. It was a small rocky planet with no name. As they flew down to land, they saw something amazing. There was a huge door built into the side of a mountain. "That must be where the fleet is hidden," Zack said excitedly. But as they got closer, they saw that the door was guarded by robot soldiers, and there were Empire ships landing nearby. "We're too late," Lena said sadly. "The Empire beat us here." Maya thought hard. Then she had an idea. "Lena, you used to be an Empire soldier. Do you still have your old uniform?" Lena nodded. "Yes, but why?" "Oh, I see what you're thinking." The plan was risky, but it was their only chance. Lena put on her old Empire uniform. The others hid in the ship. Lena walked up to the robot guards, pretending to be an Empire soldier. "I have prisoners to bring in," she said in a strong voice. The robots let her pass. Once inside, Lena found the control room and turned off the robots. Then she opened the big door all the way. Maya flew their ship inside. What they saw inside the mountain took their breath away. There were hundreds of huge, powerful spaceships. They looked old, but still strong. "We found it," Maya shouted. "We found the fleet." Just then, they heard Empire ships approaching. They didn't have much time. "Quick," Maya said. "Everyone pick a ship. We need to get these into space now." They each ran to a different ship. It took a few tries, but soon they figured out how to start the old engines. One by one, the ancient ships came to life. The team flew the ships out of the mountain just as the Empire forces arrived. There was a big space battle. The old ships were powerful, and the team fought bravely. They destroyed many Empire ships and chased the rest away. As the last Empire ship disappeared, the team cheered. They had done it. They had found the secret fleet and beaten the Empire in their first battle. Maya looked out at the stars. She thought about Sarah and how proud she would be. "This is just the beginning," Maya said to herself. "Now we can really fight back against the Empire. We can free all the planets they've taken over." The team set a course back to Nexus. They couldn't wait to show everyone the amazing ships they had found. The fight against the Empire was about to change in a big way. As they flew through space, Maya felt hopeful for the first time in a long time. Finding the fleet wasn't the end of their journey. It was just the start of a much bigger adventure. Waking up the sleeping giants, Maya and her team flew the ancient spaceships back to Nexus. Everyone on the planet was amazed when they saw the huge fleet landing. The old ships looked powerful, even though they were covered in dust. "We did it," Maya shouted as she jumped out of her ship. The other team members were grinning too. They had found the secret fleet, but their excitement didn't last long. When they tried to turn on the other ships in the fleet, nothing happened. The ships just sat there, silent and still. "What's wrong?" asked Zack, frowning at the control panel of one ship. "Why won't they start?" Giro, the mechanic, climbed into the engine room of another ship. He came out looking worried. "These engines are really old," he said. "They're different from anything I've ever seen. I'm not sure how to fix them." Maya felt her heart sink. They had found the fleet, but what good were the ships if they couldn't fly? Just then, a loud alarm started blaring. Lena, who was watching the radar, shouted, "Empire ships approaching. They must have followed us." Everyone panicked. They only had the few ships they had flown from the secret planet. It wasn't enough to fight off a whole Empire fleet. "We need to hide the ships," Maya said quickly. "Spread out and find places to hide them. Caves, forests, anywhere." The team worked fast. They flew the ancient ships to different hiding spots all over Nexus. They covered them with branches and leaves. Just in time, too. Soon, the sky was full of Empire ships. For the next few days, the rebels had to be very careful. Empire soldiers were everywhere, searching for the ancient fleet. The rebels met in secret to make plans. "We need to figure out how these old ships work," Maya said. "It's our only chance against the Empire." They decided to split into teams. Some would keep watch for Empire soldiers. Others would try to learn about the old ships. Zack would try to understand the ship's computers. Jiro would work on the engines. Arya would study the flight controls. It wasn't easy. The technology in the ancient ships was very different from what they knew. Sometimes, they felt like giving up. One day, Zack got excited. "I think I found something," he said. He showed the others a strange symbol on a screen. "I think this is a power button, but it needs a special code to work." They tried many codes, but nothing worked. Days passed. The Empire was still searching, getting closer to finding their hidden ships. Then, late one night, Omar had an idea. He had been reading old stories about Earth. "What if the code is something from Earth history?" he said. "These ships are from Earth, after all." They tried dates from Earth history, important names. Nothing worked. They were getting tired and frustrated. Suddenly, Maya remembered something Sarah used to say. Sarah had loved old Earth stories. Her favorite was about a man who flew too close to the sun. "Try Icarus," Maya said. Zack typed it in. Suddenly, the ship's lights came on. The control panel lit up with strange symbols. It worked, everyone shouted. They were so happy, they didn't notice a small drone watching them through a window. Miles away, in an Empire ship, a commander smiled an evil smile. "We found them," he said. "Prepare to attack." Back at the rebel base, the team was trying to understand the ship's controls. Arya was in the pilot's seat, pushing buttons carefully. "I think I'm getting it," she said. "This stick here seems to control direction, and this button might be for weapons." Just then, they heard a loud boom. The ground shook. Lena looked out the window and gasped. "The Empire is attacking the city." They could see Empire ships firing lasers at buildings. People were running and screaming. "We have to do something," Maya said. "We have to use this ship to fight back." But Arya looked scared. "I'm not sure I know how to fly it yet," she said. "What if I crash?" Maya put a hand on her shoulder. "You can do this," she said. "We all believe in you." Arya took a deep breath and nodded. She pushed the button they thought would start the engines. The whole ship rumbled and shook. Then, slowly, it began to rise off the ground. "It's working," Zack shouted. "We're flying." Arya carefully flew the ancient ship towards the city. The Empire ships saw them coming. They started firing lasers at the old ship. "How do we fire back?" Maya asked, looking at all the buttons. Jiro pointed to a big red button. "Try that one." Maya pushed it. A huge beam of energy shot out from their ship. It hit an Empire ship, which exploded in a ball of fire. "Wow," everyone said. The ancient ship was really powerful. Arya got more confident. She flew the ship faster, dodging the Empire's attacks. Maya and Jiro fired back, destroying more Empire ships. The people of Nexus looked up in amazement. The huge ancient ship was beating the Empire. But then, something went wrong. The ship's engines started making a strange noise. Smoke came from the control panel. "We're losing power," Zack yelled. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Arya tried to keep the ship in the air, but it was hard. They were going to crash. "Look," Omar pointed. "There's a lake. Try to land in the water." Arya aimed for the lake. The ship hit the water with a huge splash. Everyone held on tight as the ship sank. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then, emergency lights came on. The team was okay, but the ship was underwater. "How do we get out?" Lena asked, looking worried. Jiro studied a screen near the door. "I think this ship can go underwater too," he said. "Let me try something." He pushed some buttons. Suddenly, the ship's engines started again. But this time, they were quieter. It worked. Jiro said happily, "We can move underwater." Arya carefully steered the ship through the lake. They found a cave and hid the ship inside. When they came out of the ship, they saw rebel boats coming to help them. Maya's parents were in one of the boats. "You did it," Maya's mom said, hugging her. "You beat the Empire ships." "But we crashed," Maya said, feeling sad. "And we only got one ship working." "You did more than that," her dad said. "You gave people hope." Everyone saw how powerful that old ship was. Now they believe we can beat the Empire. Maya realized he was right. People on the shore were cheering for them. They looked happy and excited. "We need to get the rest of the fleet working," Maya said to her team. "And we need to do it fast. The Empire will be back with more ships." Everyone nodded. They were tired, but ready to work hard. Over the next few weeks, the rebels worked day and night on the ancient ships. Zack taught others how to use the special code to start the ships. Juro showed people how to fix the old engines. Arya trained new pilots. It wasn't easy. Sometimes the ships broke down. Sometimes people got frustrated and wanted to give up. But Maya encouraged everyone to keep trying. "Remember Sarah," she would say. "She never gave up. We can't give up either." Slowly, more and more ships started working. The rebels practiced flying them and using their weapons. They got better every day. The Empire tried to attack again, but this time the rebels were ready. They chased the Empire away with their powerful ancient ships. News spread to other planets. People heard that Nexus had found a way to beat the Empire. They wanted to join the fight. Soon, rebels from all over the galaxy were coming to Nexus. They wanted to learn how to use the ancient ships. The rebels built a big training center where people could practice. Maya looked at all the people working together, humans from different planets, even some friendly aliens, all united against the Empire. She felt proud and happy. But she also knew that the real fight was just beginning. The Empire was still strong. They would come back with a bigger fleet. "We need to be ready," Maya told her team. "We've woken up these sleeping giants. Now we need to teach everyone how to use them." As she watched the ancient ships flying in the sky, Maya made a promise to herself. She would keep fighting until all planets were free from the Empire. It's what Sarah would have wanted. The sleeping giants were awake. The true battle for freedom was about to begin. The big space battle. Months had passed since the rebels of Nexus woke up the ancient fleet. Maya and her team had been working hard. They taught people from all over the galaxy how to fly the old ships and use their powerful weapons. But the Empire wasn't sitting quietly. They were building a huge new fleet of their own. The rebels knew a big battle was coming soon. One day, while Maya was training new pilots, Zack ran up to her. He looked worried. "Maya, you need to see this," he said. Zack showed her a message they had intercepted from the Empire. It said the Empire was planning to attack Nexus in 3 days with their biggest fleet ever. Maya called a meeting with all the rebel leaders. "We need to be ready," she said. "This could be our last chance to beat the Empire." The rebels worked day and night to prepare. Juro checked all the ships to make sure they were working perfectly. Lena trained fighters in battle tactics. Arya practiced tricky flying moves with the pilots. Omar set up medical stations to take care of anyone who might get hurt. The night before the battle, Maya couldn't sleep. She went to look at the ancient ships. They were lined up, ready for battle. Maya thought about how far they had come. She thought about Sarah and how proud she would be. Suddenly, Maya heard a noise. She turned and saw an old man walking towards her. It was the same old man who had first told them about the ancient fleet. "You've done well," the old man said. "But remember, the most powerful weapon isn't the ships. It's the hope and bravery in your hearts." Before Maya could answer, the old man was gone. She wondered if she had imagined him. The next morning, the rebels were ready. Every ancient ship had a crew. There were thousands of smaller fighter ships, too. Everyone was nervous but determined. Maya stood in front of the fleet. "Today we fight for freedom," she said. For Nexus, for Sarah, for every planet the Empire has hurt. We will win. Everyone cheered. Then they got into their ships and took off. The sky was filled with rebel ships, more than anyone had ever seen before. They didn't have to wait long. Soon, they saw the Empire fleet coming. It was huge, with ships that seemed to go on forever. For a moment, everyone was quiet. Then Maya's voice came over the radio. "Remember your training," she said. "We can do this. Attack." The space around Nexus exploded with laser fire. Big Empire ships shot at the ancient fleet. Smaller fighter ships zoomed around, shooting at each other. Maya flew her ship right at the biggest Empire ship. She fired the ancient weapons. A huge beam of energy shot out, cutting the Empire ship in half. "Wow," someone said over the radio. "Did you see that?" The rebels started to feel more confident. The ancient ships were really strong. They were destroying Empire ships left and right. But the Empire had a trick too. They had a new kind of shield that could stop the ancient weapons. Some of the biggest Empire ships were protected by these shields. "We need to find a way through those shields," Maya said. Zach's voice came over the radio. "I have an idea," he said. "If we hit the shields with all our ships at the same time, we might overload them." It was dangerous, but they had to try. Maya gave the order. All the ancient ships flew at the shielded Empire ships. They all fired at exactly the same time. There was a huge flash of light. For a second, everyone was blinded. When they could see again, the Empire shields were gone. "It worked," Lena shouted. "The shields are down." The rebels attacked the Empire ships that had lost their shields. One by one, the biggest Empire ships were destroyed. But the battle wasn't over. There were still thousands of Empire fighter ships, and the rebels were getting tired. Suddenly, Maya's ship was hit. Her engines started to fail. She was falling towards Nexus. "Maya's in trouble," Arya shouted. "We need to help her." But everyone was busy fighting. No one could reach Maya in time. Just when it seemed like Maya would crash, a strange light surrounded her ship. It started to float gently down to the ground. Maya looked out her window. She saw the old man again, standing on a hill. He was holding up his hands, and the light was coming from them. He had saved her. As soon as Maya's ship touched the ground, the old man disappeared again. Maya quickly got into another ship and flew back into the battle. The rebels were starting to win, but it was still close. Then something amazing happened. New ships appeared out of nowhere. They were ancient ships, like the ones from Nexus, but different, and they were attacking the Empire. "This is the Earth fleet," a voice said over the radio. "We're here to help." The Earth fleet turned the tide of the battle. With their help, the rebels started to beat the Empire ships easily. The commander of the Empire fleet realized they were losing. "Retreat," he ordered. "Back to Empire space." The Empire ships started to run away. The rebels cheered as they watched them go. But Maya wasn't done yet. "We can't let them escape," she said. "If we do, they'll just come back with more ships later." The rebels chased the Empire fleet. It was a long chase, through asteroid fields and past strange space clouds. But finally, they had the Empire ships trapped. "Surrender now," Maya said to the Empire commander, "or we'll destroy every last ship." The Empire commander was angry, but he knew he had lost. "We surrender," he said in an angry voice. The rebels had won. They had beaten the biggest Empire fleet ever. When they got back to Nexus, everyone was celebrating. People were dancing in the streets. They were setting off fireworks. Everyone wanted to hug the rebel pilots and say thank you. Maya found her parents in the crowd. They hugged her tightly. "We're so proud of you," her mom said. Sarah would be proud too. Maya felt happy, but also a little sad. She wished Sarah could have seen their victory. Just then, she saw the old man again. He was standing at the edge of the crowd. Maya ran over to him. "Who are you?" she asked. "How did you help us?" The old man smiled. "Let's just say I'm a friend," he said. "Someone who has watched humanity for a long time. You didn't need my help, Maya. You and your friends did this on your own. What happens now?" Maya asked. "Now, you rebuild," the old man said. "Create a galaxy where everyone is free. It won't be easy, but I know you can do it." Then, to Maya's surprise, the old man started to fade away. Before he disappeared completely, he said one last thing. "Sarah says hello. She's very proud of you." Then he was gone. Maya stood there for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened. In the days that followed, the rebels were busy. They freed planets that the Empire had controlled. They arrested the worst Empire leaders and put them on trial. They started to create a new government, one that would be fair to everyone. Maya and her friends were heroes. Everyone wanted to hear their story. But Maya never forgot how it all started. She made sure everyone remembered Sarah, the brave girl who first stood up to the Empire. 1 year after the big space battle, Maya stood in the town square of Nexus. She was there to unveil a new statue. It was a statue of Sarah, standing tall and brave. As Maya looked at the statue, she thought about their incredible journey. From a small act of kindness to a galaxy-changing battle. She thought about the friends she had made, the challenges they had faced, and the victory they had won. But Maya knew their work wasn't done. There would always be people who needed help, worlds that needed protecting. As long as she and her friends were around, they would be ready. Maya looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, new adventures were waiting, and she couldn't wait to see what would happen next.